Have you ever cleared out so much from your space that everything just feels so much lighter? I'm talking physically, I'm talking metaphysically, I'm talking energetically, all these fun things. Over the last, well, realistically, it's been 6 months, but the last couple weeks in specific, I have been doing a major, major overhaul of my home. I have been clearing things out. I've been getting rid of things I don't need. And with that, all of the identities and obligations and false beliefs I've had about myself too. I used to be somebody who believed I couldn't keep a clean home, being ADHD and neurospicy and just growing and living in chaos my whole life. It is what felt normal to me. And it's taken a lot to get here. I still have so much to clear out, but everything is just feeling so much lighter. And because the energy right now is really supporting this, I would say go for it yourself too. So let's get into it. What are the actual things I am clearing out of my house as a not quite hoarder? I don't think I've ever actually reached that level, but the way I like to collect things is, well, it can be kind of scary sometimes. And I think a lot of this comes from my childhood, constantly moving, constantly feeling unsettled. And one of the few things I could control to a degree was what I held on to, what I kept. And having the added layer of financial insecurity most of my life, the question of whether to keep something hadn't always been as black and white of, do I need this right now? Because sometimes it was, okay, I don't need this right now, but what happens a month from now when I don't have the money to buy insert random thing here, but the one I have breaks and I need a new one, or I wind up just needing a different one. You know what I mean? Not a great example, but I hope, if you get it, you get it. For me, the object was never just an object, it was so much more than that. When we cleared out my partner's, like a past family member storage unit last summer, I brought home bins and bins of things. Fancy china dishes that I never once used. I put in the cupboard boxes of glasses that I was like, these would be great, but I'm not going to use them now. I'll save them for the future because I have glasses that are fine now. 30 new tea towels to go along with the 10 I already had. Well, maybe I'll keep those because they do dry better than mine. But there were all these things, and when I looked at them, I saw potential. As an artist, I saw creative potential. As somebody who spent most of my life not having enough, I saw enough. I saw an abundance. But really, what happened when I brought all of that home was that everything felt chaotic. We've been, bumbling around our apartment for a year now, barely having space because we just put so much in here that it wasn't functional. And one of the things, I'm going to sidetrack a little because, the ADHD, it's all connected. One of the things I am bringing in really hard and trying to pull in is this new home, is working on this business and being present and showing up in the ways I want to show up, right? And the message I had been receiving from my guides over and over and over again was, you are not ready. It was the same message I got from my higher self. You are not ready for this house that you are trying to call in. You can get ready. It's totally possible, but we're not going to give it to you until you can hold on to it, because once you get it, we don't want you to lose it. And, as frustrating as that can be, it helped. And that's the thing I keep holding on to anytime I walk into a room and I'm like, cool, what's in here? What can I throw away? Because I don't want to take it all with me. Now let's also talk guilt, because for me personally, as a neurodivergent person who's a recovering people pleaser, I have so much guilt around the things I keep. Sometimes it was a present that somebody gave me with good intentions, but wasn't really my style. So I've kept it for 7 years. I don't need to keep that shirt or that bag or whatever other item it is. Sometimes the guilt came from money that I'm not actually going to get back. I spent $20 on a thing that realistically I didn't need. And now I feel like this obligation to keep the item because I spent the money that I didn't need to spend. So I have to punish myself now. Those aren't the thoughts consciously, but subconsciously, that's what's hanging around in the background. And so finding all these moments of and these spaces where I can do the shadow work behind it and I can do the energetic healing behind it. I can give myself permission to let things go, to get rid of things, to still care about a person. But if an object they'd given me wasn't right for me, I can get rid of that. I do not need to hold it. And as hard as that can be, something that I do remind myself of this when I'm having a stress moment is I'm not responsible for other people's emotions. I might appreciate the gift. I'm not going to go and tell you that I threw it out, but at the end of the day, I have to prioritize myself here. And that's what she wrote. With my personal circumstances as well, I currently don't have a working car. I haven't had a working car in, I think, about 4 months now. And we live an hour's walk outside of town. So there is no donation option for me. And even if there was, because of the size of the town that we live in, there aren't even donation options in my town. So when I wanted to donate things before, what I had to do was drive 45 minutes to get to the nearest big city so I could donate it at a Value Village or some other thrift store or, benefit or charity or anything like that. And so I've had this guilt of stacking things up in boxes because these are perfect. They should be donated. I don't want to throw it out. I don't want things to go to the dump. I really do hate that. But unfortunately, that is kind of my only option. Yes, I do know there is the option to sell things. And I really wish I had the energy and capacity to do that. But being neurodivergent, being chronically ill, my partner also in the exact same boat, while trying to manage a household, while trying to start a business, while trying to show up and heal and do art, do all these things, trying to add the extra pressure of selling or getting rid of these things for free in a very small town where not a lot of people are. I've done that route so many times before, and I had to let it go. As much as I wanted to, as nice as it might be to have an extra 20 or $50, I can't make that my priority. My priority in this moment needs to be clearing out things. And every time things leave the house, I feel so much relief because these things, they aren't even things I'm missing. Now, that might not be the case for all of them. Some of these things I actually do miss. Like one of my favorite mugs that I have had a long time. I had it for 12 years. I got rid of it a month and a half ago. Now that I think about it, I think that is what started this really big purging kick. And I broke it on purpose. And the amount of energy release, I do have a video. I never actually posted it, but it felt like a shockwave because I'd been carrying around this mug, this object, this identity for so long. And when I released that object, that really no longer served me. Yeah, I love the design. It was fun. The colors were cute. I didn't actually like using the coffee mug because it either got super, super hot, really cold. I could never heat things up in the microwave, and it would make my coffee that had been boiling 10 minutes ago ice cold. And I didn't actually use the mug anymore. And while I loved it, I don't need to keep that if it's not serving a purpose. When I make room for new things to come in. New things come in. When I'm trying to call an abundance, but there's no room for the abundance to come in, it's not going to come in. These are really just a handful of the ways that, and of the things that I've had to mentally work through, but it really, really is helping. Now, if you are in this space of wanting to clear things out energetically, here are some other things that can really help. One of the questions I am constantly asking myself is, if I had $5 million tomorrow, or insert any random number, whatever that number is for you, be it $100,000, $1 million, $20 million, dream big, right? If I had that money come in tomorrow or come in a month from now, would I still want this object? Would I still need this thing? Or would this be completely irrelevant? Would I get something that suits me better, that I like better? Am I actually using this thing right now? And the question is more relevant if it's something that you're not using, but maybe you're saving it or you're keeping it, or you kind of use it, but you don't really like it and you just use it sometimes because you feel like you have to. That question helps a lot. Another one I have seen floating around on the internet is, if it got poop on it, would you keep it? Would you spend the effort to clean the poop off, or would you just toss it in the garbage? And that's also a really, really good one. I like that because, the whole, does this spark joy? Does this make you happy? If you're neurodivergent like me, ADHD, you're a little gremlin who likes to collect everything. Chances are, yeah, it probably is going to make you happy. Chances are, yeah, you probably could find a use for it. But that doesn't mean you have to. It also doesn't mean necessarily that you should. I have gotten so used to this practice that it's actually pretty fun now. Anytime I walk into the room, I am constantly scanning for things I can get rid of, because every time I do, it's just like this little rush of dopamine. I'm like, yes. Now, let's go to another untraditional hack tip that's kind of been helping with this clearing out decluttering is, I get inspired by people I watch on the internet. This is a big thing, right? You see an archaeologist and suddenly you want to go to school to become an archaeologist, right? Okay, maybe that was just me as a kid. But when I see something or people doing something, another example for me as a kid was watching Dancing with the Stars, or I don't think it was dancing. So You Think You Can Dance. That's what I watched, the old school version. But it always made me want to learn to dance. American Idol made me want to sing more, though that one was already there. But you get the point. So I use this. I sit on my phone and I scroll through reels of people decluttering, or watch videos of people decluttering and cleaning their homes and listening to their hacks. Not necessarily because I'm using their tips and advice, but I guess I'm kind of using it as a way to body double. I'm like, oh, that looks so much fun. Like, look how much they cleared out. Oh, that is so exciting. Oh, now I want to do it. And I let myself have fun with it. Cleaning for me used to be a punishment. Cleaning, decluttering used to be a chore, used to be something I hated because I felt like I had to, because it was never in my control. But now I try to find little ways to make it fun. So while I'm going around decluttering, I usually have a decluttering video playing in the background on double speed, not because I'm fully paying attention to it, but it's nice to have somebody doing the same thing energetically. And there are so many examples of people doing this on any platform, whether it's YouTube videos like I tend to watch, TikToks, Instagrams, people declutter, people deep clean. When I want to do it and I don't have the motivation to do it, I watch some videos, and I'll watch them maybe for 10, 15 minutes. And then eventually it just kind of hooks into my brain and stays there. And I'm like, inspired, let's go do it. Now, another one that has also been great is keeping a box specifically for things that I want to throw out, but I'm worried to throw in the garbage because they might break or whatever. I have a lot of mental roadblocks sometimes. Like, I don't like throwing breakable glass things in the garbage because I'm like, well, what if it breaks? And then it's going to tear the garbage bag, and then garbage is going to go everywhere, and I won't actually get it up the driveway to the garbage can. And so I've let that go. I was like, I know I keep running into this specific roadblock every single time. I'm mentally like, I can't throw out too much or I'm going to break the bag, so I should stop when I don't really want to stop. So the solution was box. And then I just said to my boyfriend, hey, once this box that does fit in a garbage bag is full, can you handle that for me? And he did. And it was great. It was wonderful. So we took that little garbage bag and box up yesterday. And we already have a new box to replace it with one item in it. Okay. Well, so with all of that, that is how to handle things more on the physical plane. If you do have any more tips with that, please drop them in the comments because we get through this together, right? It's never an alone thing. I can't do it on my own. And these are just some of the few things I found that have helped me. And, I'm always looking for more tips too. So if you have more, drop them in the comments. Let's share it and cheer each other on. But to get into the energetics of it. So now you've cleared all of these things out of your house. You might have a whole empty drawer or new space or so many other things. Now you've created almost like an energetic vacuum, right? There's this empty space where nothing exists and it wants to be full because that's what it's used to. That whole saying, nature abhors a vacuum. I think that's how it goes, right? If there was something that was taking up a space and it's not there, things are gonna fill it in, right? And so with that, you have a couple things that might happen once you start clearing things out. It might feel really, really unsafe in your body. First of all, I I have been working on not having as much for years, realistically years. And anytime I did a big purge, it would lead to a panic attack. It would lead to a mental breakdown. It would lead to me not being able to function because everything felt overwhelming and dysregulating and unsafe, right? And so finding ways to make it more safe, which for me really meant chipping away in small ways until it was easier to do it in bigger ways. That might be setting 5 minutes for you, right? 5 minutes a day. That's it. But something that might be really, really helpful to do is every item that you're getting rid of. You can do this one at a time with each item, or you can do it as like a general overview at the end is call your energy back. I'm seeing this gaining a lot more traction online lately, and I've been doing this practice a lot more, and it really has been helping. But I call my energy back to me. I ask the earth beneath my feet to cleanse it, and whatever stagnant energy, ties, cords were attached to all those objects, it's back in me now. It's not way out there. I have it and I allow it to be used in a way that feels great. Okay. That makes it so it doesn't feel as urgent to replace all of the things I just got rid of. It also makes me feel better when I am doing a big callback of energy, whether it's because it's something that's been stagnant and sitting there for a while, or whether it's because I'm calling energy back from a lot of things at once. Kind of feels like this little bit of a rush where I'm like, oh, there's this energy that wasn't here before. This is nice. And sometimes it can feel a little wonky. If the energy I'm calling back had been very connected to something that just gave me icky feelings, sometimes I'm a little off, but nothing that a cleansing shower or some incense won't fix. That really helps. Another thing that is really good is just doing an incense cleanse of my whole home area after I've cleared out a bunch of things, just to get any stagnant remaining energy from the objects that are no longer in my home out of my home, so I don't have to deal with it. I'm also making sure to give myself lots of permission to feel all of the feels I have. I'm not forcing myself to do too much. If I feel tied to an object or I'm going back and forth undecided on if I should keep it or if I shouldn't, I keep it for now. I have cleared every room in my house dozens of times of objects, and I just kind of keep going back over the room. I do a round, I collect some things. Maybe 2 weeks later, I go through that room again and I clear a little more that I didn't think I was going to, but then realized, nah, I actually don't need it. I am just constantly letting myself be and letting myself be comfortable with, wherever the energy wants to go. It's slow progress, but it's good progress. And the more I'm clearing out, the more I'm getting through, the better I'm feeling, the more energy I have, the less overwhelmed I'm feeling. As much as I am used to clutter and, subconsciously it's my safe space, mentally, emotionally, consciously, not really. It is overwhelming for my brain. I can't focus. When I cleared off my artwork desk 2 days ago, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much better. I can actually work in here again. You don't realize sometimes just how much something is affecting you until it no longer is. So, if this is the inspiration you need, I hope you take it, and I hope you find some peace in your decluttering. If you need any help, if you have questions, or if you have things that have helped you, drop them in the comments because, again, this is how we grow. I hope you'll subscribe for more videos that blend a little bit of the witchy woo woo with the neurodivergent mental health, artsy, I need to find a better way to end these videos, but at the same time, I don't edit them. This is all spur of the moment. And I think they are turning out better and better. So, we'll get there. Anyways, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll catch you in the next one.